How you doing, everyone? Okay, welcome to this one. Straight off the bat, I found a glitch. We are now blurry on the sort of, what would you call it, cinematic screen of whatever track you go to. Not tried it on other tracks. We are obviously at Monza. It does sort of sort itself out for some of it. But yeah, like I said, as I said, a little bug. It's not a massive one. So this video, I wanted to do. I was intrigued pretty much. I wanted to see what was quickest over probably the fastest track with less corners because we are running, GT2 versus GT3. I've also thrown in the GTC, which is the Ferrari Challenge, which when it first come out to the game was an absolute weapon around Monza. And one of my subs that comes into my chat regularly on my streams mentioned about the GTC. So it was good to sort of, throw that in there as well. So what we're going to do is a comparison of a basically standing start down to the end of the start-finish straight to see sort of 0 to 60 pretty much, or how far the cars are ahead of each other and sort of top speed to a certain point. I will obviously show you the setups I run, which is pretty much the stock aggressive to just sort of keep it apples for apples. Then we'll sort of slow it down, do a side-by-side of all three. Then I did do a lap as well, just to see, and at the end of the video I will sort of pretty much show you the outcome, what the times are. So yeah, I'll stop waffling on and let's get into the setup. So the setup, as I said, stock aggressive. I tweaked the tyres just to get them to where they were. I think I changed the brake ducts as well. I changed the brake pads because they were all set to 2, which I don't like. As you can see, straight down to 1. And yeah, the brake ducts down by 1. And that was it. Apples for apples, 25-25. Yeah, let's just get into the first lap. So same line as all the 3 you'll see. Pretty much in the first gear. And nail it, pretty much. So I was contemplating sort of going round the chicane, but I thought I'd just run it straight on because there is a run-off area to make it easy. So again, now to the GT2, which I did pick the Merc. Again, just going through the setup, pretty much, as I said, the only tweaks I did were sort of the same as what I did for the Lambo. So yeah, straight into it. Again, stopping on the same line. Pretty much getting it into first gear, and then just give it some beans, full welly. So then onto the GTC, which is a Ferrari Challenge. Again, tweak the tyres, brake pads again. Obviously the brake ducts were quite high on this, but I just knocked them down 1 each as per what I did for the other 2 cars. Again, down to the same line. Now the side-by-side of all 3. Okay guys, let's slow this down. So we will start off really just to get an idea how far ahead, if anything, one particular car class is. Obviously we can't do it sort of obviously the full speed run I showed, so it's better doing it obviously through my editing software, I still haven't mastered how to slow videos, actual videos down. I don't think you can. It's just sort of trickery, video editing trickery. So we'll get this going. So they pull away, and like I said, we will sort of pause it at certain sections where there's sort of like markers on the roads, really. So we'll come down here to where as you can see, the start-finish lights, the green lights. So as you can see, we are, no, I wouldn't say neck and neck. I'd definitely say the GT2 is ahead. The GTC and the GT3 seem quite close. So, like I said, we can run it on. They are pretty close, actually. So, yeah, but at this stage, the GT2's in front. So, we'll run it on again. We're going to come down to the spectator box, would you call it, that sort of hangs over the track. So, to me, I would say, if we go for the orange mark on the side, I would say that the GT3 has lost out somewhat, and the GTC has actually caught up with the GT2, as you can see. If we run it on, so the GT3, say there, where obviously the GT2 was, and the GTC. So yeah, that's quite interesting. We'll run it on again. We'll come down to the 200 board. So yeah, GT2 definitely in front. GT3 is way behind now. When we come down again to the 100 board, as you can see, there is an actual white line which could help. So just there. So we're sort of on it with the GT2. Not sure where the GTC. I think I could just about see it with the GTC. So yeah, the GT2's ahead again, and it is starting to stretch its legs slightly. And the GT3 is, well, as you can see, quite a way down, to be fair. So yeah, let's bring it down, roll it back. So the 50 board, again, there's no real sort of marker on the road that we can go. So we'll just go for the 50 board just into shot. And again, GT2 in front, GTC a little bit behind, and the GT3 quite a way behind. So yeah, I hope this is cleared it up. As I said, with the just doing the full speed. Obviously, you could probably pause it yourself, but I felt that yeah, I would sort of do that for you. But obviously, yeah, for me then the winner is obviously the GT2. Would you say closely followed by the GTC? Not too close. And then obviously way behind is, yeah, the GT3. So now on to the actual full lap of the track. So that's it, pretty much. So we had the sort of 0 to 60s individual, then all together, and then we had, yes, the lap of all three. What I did was I did a few laps, obviously just to familiarise myself with the certain car that I was driving. The differences, to put it into this video, the GT3 felt more planted. It felt quite nimble. It just felt balanced, I think, sort of through the corners, under braking, as pretty much a GT3 should be. The GT2 felt on edge. Turning wasn't as sharp. As I said, the brakes definitely not as good, and it was a bit of a handful, but it was a different handful to the GTC. The GTC felt heavy. It just, again, sort of didn't want to turn in. It was very clumbersome. Yeah, and obviously the brakes, again, were probably on par with the GT2 was. So, yeah, very interesting to drive all three. But, yeah, put the top speeds up now. These were run to the 150 board that was then visible at the sort of left-hand corner, just in front of the sort of the A-pillar from the cockpit view. So I felt that was where I wanted, because that's round where you would be braking. Maybe the GT2 GTC just slightly before, but as I said, I just ran it on. I didn't sort of brake for that marker. So as you can see, the GT3 151 mile an hour, a lot less than the GT2 170 mile an hour, and the GTC only 2 mile an hour behind at 168. Now I do feel that on a longer run, say Paul Ricard, the GT2 would be ahead by a few more mile an hour than the GTC on a longer straight. It just, yeah, I just felt that the gearing on the GTC was geared for, obviously, sort of 0 to 60 getting going, not so much geared for sort of top speed as such. And as I said, yeah, the GT3 was quite a way down, to be honest, which is, I suppose, understandable. The sort of the pros and cons. I think the pros with the GT3s is it goes around the corners quicker, but obviously the acceleration, as we've seen, and the top speed isn't as good as the other two. So yeah, but it just goes to show the other two were pretty close, to be fair, which I'm shocked at. Now let's get on to the lap times. This is where it's slightly different, considering there was only 2 mile an hour between the GTC, or the GT2 and the GTC. So yeah, GT3 148.9, GT2 148.2, GTC 149.4. Now, if I'm being honest, if I'd done more laps, I could get them times down for sure. There was a little bit of time left on the table. Now, you've still got to take these with a pinch of salt, I'd say, because they're just running the stock aggressive. I know that I can do in the Lambo on a hot lap mode with a decent setup. You're probably breaking into the 46s. Now, the GT2, I feel I could probably just get into the 47s with it. Now, as I said, it'd be interesting to see with a decent setup, and just to see how much time you would gain. And pretty much the same with the GTC. I've always run the GTC with the sort of stock aggressive tunes. I've never actually got a custom setup for the GTC as well, so that would have been interesting. But at the end of the day, this was apples for apples. This was like for like, so to speak. I couldn't sort of put a custom tune on the GT3 and the GT2 and the GTC, because for me it wouldn't be fair as such, because you don't know how much time you're going to gain from said tune for the certain car class. It might not be as big as, say, from the GT3 to the GT2. So, as I said, just trying to keep it sort of apples for apples to stock aggressive, not doing massive changes to it. But I do feel that, in my opinion, even a custom tune to the GT2 and a custom tune to the GT3, I do believe the GT3 would be quicker overall so than the GT2. But as I said, comparing the sort of stock aggressives, I'm quite sort of shocked that the GT2 is way in front. But as I said, I reckon I could get into the 47s with the GT2 on the stock aggressive on the perfect lap and maybe knock a couple of temps off the GT3. But again, the GTC is way off. It was always way off. It was always, its party piece was is acceleration and getting away from the line. So, but yeah, that's me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed making it. I've enjoyed finding out what is the quickest around Monza. And obviously we have done the comparison with the sort of lap time from Red Bull with the GT2 against the GT3, and that was really close. So obviously it's going to be track dependent. This was always going to sort of maybe favour the top end, the top speed cars, which turns out to be the GT2. But as I said, yeah, maybe in the future I might make a video if I can get a custom tune for all three, and just see how much time we can knock down and then see if the tables are turned. But yeah, as I said, just not so much a quick video, but a slightly in-depth, I think, of the three car classes, because I dare say a lot of you guys out there have wondered, especially around Monza, what is the quickest car between all three sort of categories. So there you go. I hope this is sort of, yeah, shed some light on it, and go out and try yourself. Let me know how you got on. But as I said, yeah, I enjoyed making this video. So yeah, but as always, I'll catch you on the next one.